Hello everybody and welcome back to Pravus Gaming and more Plague Inc. Evolved Custom Scenarios. So, I've been getting a lot of requests lately. I'm going to apologize in advance that I can't do some of them, despite what people might ask for, because some of them just don't actually exist, or aren't showing up if I search for them. Case in point, one recent one that was requested was something like, Knight Rayjack, Amrus Revenge, or whatever it is. I don't exactly know what the heck it is, but no matter how I search for it, it doesn't exist. Search by Knight, for example. No, it doesn't exist. Yeah, so either the names are wrong or something, and in this particular case, maybe that's for the best, because I looked up Knight Rayjack to find out what the heck that is. It's apparently a DeviantArt guy who likes drawing cartoon characters that are tied up in some way. It's kind of weird, probably not a pro in some way, but anyway. So yeah, if you guys are going to be requesting things, make sure that it actually exists and that you've given me the full name of it, please. That would be helpful. Now, speaking of which, someone did send me a full name, requested I look at something called Zerg Drop Pod. There it is. I subscribed to that one. It's got a 5-star rating already, so it's gotta be good, right? Let's take a look-see. The Overmind has found planet Earth to be increasingly threatening, and decided to infest it. The Overmind has sent a drop pod with infectious spores, and you are to control this infection. Consume the human DNA for metamorphosis, and annihilate all remnants. This scenario has some restrictions, no specialized genes, and no random mutations. Oh, that's good to know. Wait a minute, no mutations? Isn't that sort of the entire point of the Zerg? Alright, that's fine. 136 out of 168... What? Wait, 136 out of 1... Is that how many freaking things are in this? Oh my god! We're gonna find out, but that seems like way too many. All abilities, symptoms, and transmissions are custom. That's good. Abilities equal miscellaneous upgrades. Symptoms are unit evolution. Transmission equals tech tree. Ah, that wonderful StarCraft text tree. Huh. Alright, let's give it a shot. I'm interested. It's got 5 stars. Gotta be good. Ooh, it's a Necrovirus. Oh, I like that. We're gonna infest the Zerg, and then basically the zombies are gonna be our little Zerglings, or at least infested Terrans. The Swarm. This for the Swarm. The Overmind decided it's time to take over Earth. It sent a drop pod containing spores into the country of you chose. Your choice. The spore will begin to infest humans and allow the swarm to evolve. Take control of the evolutionary process and bring the evolutionary progress, and bring the Zerg into complete world domination. You will not possibly be able to acquire all abilities, so choose carefully, especially early on. Nidus Worm is your Horde mentality. Orange, yellow, and green are zombies. Interesting. Okay, so let's start off in Saudi Arabia, okay, just because I want to see what we've got. So we start off with Drop Pod. The Overmind has sent his first infectious spores to planet Earth. The Zerg invasion begins. Okay. Symptoms? Spores. Spores released from the drop pod begin to spread to nearby humans. 0 points, I guess we'll grab it. That leads to corruption. These are interesting icons, aren't they? The spore causes their host to seek a secluded area to mutate. Rural plus. Okay. No ability is currently available. I guess we have to go for corruption. And that unlocks infested human. Spores mutate the human into an abomination, which fearlessly protects the spores inside. Upon death, a larva is released along with creep. Corpse transmission. Okay. Now that's a little bit lethal kind of early on, but it does seem to be my only option. I'm wondering if I want to sit tight and don't evolve that for a while until I've had a chance to get a bit of a better spread here in Saudi Arabia. Then again, is it worth going for that lethality kind of early? I mean, it is a Necrovirus. The balance of when to start maxing out lethality is always a little bit on the tricky side. That said, if we don't do this, we won't be able to unlock anything new. So, you know what? It has corpse transmission. I guess we go for it. Larva. Each larva contains within it the genetic makeup of every other Zerg strain available to the hive. Okay, 1 point. Egg. The interim state between a larva and any other Zerg strain. Okay. Drone. Drones can transform themselves into rudimentary Zerg structures. A mutating drone needs creep to provide nourishment and biomass to support its new form. No problem. And then we have the hatchery. Drones begin to mutate into hatcheries that produce larvae. However, with the increased size and creep comes increased visibility. Yes, that would make some sense now, wouldn't it? Any new options with symptoms? No. Can't continue creating new Zerglings until we have a hatchery producing larvae, so we can create Zerglings. I'm guessing that's what's going to happen, because so far it's following the, it's pretty much following the Zerg tech tree down to the letter. I guess we go with the hatchery then. I mean, I know it's visible, but oh well. Evolution Chamber. Evolution complete. Drones begin morphing into evolution chambers, unlocking new abilities and symptoms. Now that's what we want. Spawning pool. Drones begin morphing. Okay, so the T has to be replaced with a P, just because I saw that the author said that grammar is not his English grammar is not his, like, first language or something like that. So, morphing, not morphing, into spawning pools, granting the capability to mutate Zerglings. Now, I'm wondering if that's going to basically be our zombies. Now, we may not want that right away. Maybe the evolution chamber's better. And then there's the extractor. Drones mutate into extractors, releasing additional spores into the atmosphere, land, air, and sea. That's pretty effective. Maybe we want to get that first so we spread better, and then we worry about getting some symptoms and abilities unlocked. And then once we have a pretty reasonable spread, we try going for Zerglings and creating the swarm? I don't know. Also, what are the Overlords doing down here? Overlords are extremely flexible in their support role, serving as scouts, disgorging, creep, and relaying commands, land, air, and sea. Not as good as the extractor, and more severe, but still pretty good. I would like to have more land, air, and sea transmission. Planes, trains, and automobiles style, it'll be fine. Let's go for that extractor. So we still only have a couple hundred people infected in Saudi Arabia, but I don't think that's going to be too much trouble. We're going to go ahead and pick up the Overlords as well. Probably should... Oh, gosh, what should we do? Let's see. We have the Queen. Allows a Queen to be born from the hatcheries to nourish and protect the larva. More corpse transmission. Probably not a high priority yet. Overseer. Overseers are able to track down incoming threats, including hidden units. Reduce severity. Now, that actually might be a good thing. Maybe not this second, but eventually. Let's go for the Evolution Chamber. Symptoms, nothing new available right now, but wow, hello! Okay, so these are like actually the icons of all the Zerg tech upgrades. Interesting. Animal carriers. Adapted to reside within pets, pests, and livestock. Wealthy and poor. Very useful. Gene sequencing. Spores begin to rapidly mutate its genes, finding a cure to become more difficult. Drug resistance. Adapted to most... so you got adapted there. Earth's medicine, okay. Cold resistance, heat resistance, gas adaptation, adaptation. The Zerg is adapted to Earth's climate, slowly flying across oceans and thriving in arid environments. Air and arid. Actually very good for us right now, and it costs nothing? Grab. Missile attacks. All Zerg ground and ranged units. Are we going to get a Hydralisk in this at some point? Because, man... Hydralisks are like my favorite unit. They're like the iconic Zerg unit. I love them. Liquid adaptation, sorry. We'll pick that up as well. Why not? Ranged carapace, okay. Strength. Sorry. Okay, that'll be very good when we do end up having zombies. Gotta keep that in mind. And I'm guessing this is combat ability or combat advantage. Okay. Melee attacks, same thing. Ground carapace, same thing. Okay. I'm sort of getting an idea, just based on my experience with StarCraft, I kind of get an idea where we're going with all of this. And honestly, I kind of like it. That's not bad. Gonna go for the Overseer and reduce our severity a little bit. Hello, Changelings. Allows Overseers to produce Changelings that are capable of taking any human form, successfully mimicking researchers and politicians, reducing research speed. Okay, look, there we go. Some infectivity starting to get around. Alright, do we want to go for the Queens for the better corpse transmission? Probably not. We want the spawning pool. Alright, so I see Zerglings. Looks like Banelings are on the way as well. The lair, conversion rates, and decay. Ah, okay, so more people get turned into zombies and don't decay as quickly. Okay, Roach Warren. Roaches, those are pretty powerful. Still not a lot in the way of symptoms, though. I feel like we have to go for the Zerglings and stuff first. Land and hot. The voracious Zerglings are fond of ripping enemies to shreds with their razor-sharp, sickle-like limbs and fangs. Banelings would explode. I'm not sure if this is going to be... I'm not sure if this is now going to become more like the Rise of the Xenomorph scenario that everyone hates me for. And it's going to be just a bunch of, stat upgrades, but it doesn't have any actual practical difference, Zerglings versus Banelings versus Roaches versus Hydralisks. I have no idea yet. We're going to find out how creative the author decided to get with this. Any more abilities here that we really want? I kind of like the idea of going for the wealthy and poor countries a lot better. Research progress, no, but I will go for some level of drug resistance and cold resistance while this stuff's incredibly cheap. Make sure that we're able to get around Europe and stuff a heck of a lot faster. We're getting a pretty meaningful spread here, but they did detect us, so pretty soon I think we need to pop them Zerglings. We're starting to work on that cure. Alright, just keep getting a bit more of a spread. Transmission options. Do we want to go for the lair? We will eventually. Does this unlock... I can't tell. Does this unlock the zombies? It may not. Let's grab Zergling. Okay, we have something here. Regeneration. All ground melee Zerg gain increased regeneration, capable of surviving for longer on the battlefield. Very effective. Holy cram. Grab Raptor Zerglings, or Swarmlings. Those, of course, being the two... oh, yep, that was the zombies. Okay, those being, of course, the two deviations of the Zergling that you can pick in the Heart of the Swarm campaign, which I actually played on this channel a long time ago before deleting all the videos because they just didn't do well and also just sort of didn't fit with the channel. But, yeah, let's go for Lair because now we actually do have zombies. It's a bit earlier than I think I was expecting, but there we go. Hydralisk Dens, Roach Warrens, Nidus Network. There's the Horde mentality I was looking for. Spires if we want to have Mutalisks and Corruptors, and Infestation Pits if we want to have all things go up. Oh, I like that idea. Alright, I'm going to go for the Infestation Pit. Then there's the Hive. Lairs begin morphing into hives, greatly increasing larva production, conversion, and decay reduced even further. Grab that. And we have the Ultralisk Caverns. Who doesn't like a good Ultralisk, right? I'm going to go for the Queen for more corpse transmission. That leads to Creep Tumor. Allows the Queen to continuously lay Creep Tumors, which allows more structures to be built. Now, why is that relevant? Is there some sort of limit that I'm not aware of as to how many you're allowed to take? That would be actually very interesting. I just don't know how you would code that kind of restriction into the game. But that would be very impressive. I'm going to grab the Nidus Network. And then there's the Nidus Worm, better speed and size. So this is just upgrading our Horde mentality that you would find from the Zombie Plague. Okay, so now, do we want to continue upgrading our units themselves? We haven't unlocked anything other than Zergling, but we could at least max these out a bit. They hatch in groups of 4 instead of 2, or they're a heck of a lot faster. Land transmission. I like that. Grab. Monstrous Claws. Let's translate to stronger damage. Expedited Growth. Corpse transmission. Extractor Efficiency. Land, air, and sea again. So this is just the technology upgrades for some buildings and units. Spore-emitting eggs. Eggs now begin to emit spores within a close vicinity, increasing spore spread and infectivity. Very effective. We'll grab that. They haven't really made much progress on the cure at this point, and I'm not sure it really is going to matter, but who knows? I mean, maybe the infectivity will help. The Swarm placed on the watch list. Now, I do need to be very cautious about the fact that we're killing remarkably quickly right now. Some more corpse transmission would be okay with me, I guess. But maybe we want to unlock some more units first. Screw it. Unlock the Hydralisks. I want to have Hydralisks. Oh, and look, the Lurkers. Okay. I don't see Hydralisks. Not on my symptoms yet, anyway. Do we want rural and urban? I think I kind of want to have combat advantage. Let's go for some strength and armor. We're going to go for all the Tier 1 tech upgrades. Because pretty soon, I imagine ZCOM's going to get set up, which I don't know what it would be considered to be as far as the lore, but it's going to be around here somewhere. We are infecting remarkably quickly. Authorities can't protect from the swarm. Yeah, it's working pretty well. They are working on that cure, but I'm not sure it's going to matter much. Okay, so let's go for some more Nidus Worms. 1 and 2, speed and size. Since we have a lot of DNA to work with, we can send people to all the countries we're missing. Do we want to have the Ultralisks, Roaches, Banelings? I mean, all it does is unlock new units. And since there are so many options here, we do have to be selective as far as what unit composition we want to go for. That said, I'm not seeing Hydralisks anywhere here. So do we care? I don't know. Monstrous Claws, Fury, Strength. Okay. Could be useful. We'll go for Swarmling for more infectivity. Twin Drones, Extractor Efficiency. Yeah. There's ZCOM. Okay, so they did fire. We need to move some men from Germany. Sorry, men. Huh. We need to move some Swarmlings. Holy crap. Goodbye, Sweden. Jeez. Huh. That worked. Alright, go from the USA to Canada, and also go from... let's see. Indonesia to... Every country, I think, is infected. No, we're missing the Caribbean and Greenland. That's it? Oh my god. I think we might be annihilating on this particular scenario. And the Nidus Worms are working tremendously well. I mean, that's millions upon millions of Zerglings just flying out. Now, here's the problem. It's so easy right now that we really don't need any other units besides the Zerglings. But I'm going to try to unlock some more stuff and see if we can find something. Okay, so there's an increased capacity for the Overlords, and I see Mutalisks down here. Now, shouldn't the Mutalisks be on the Symptom Tree instead? I don't know. We're going to go ahead and pick up the Mutalisks, though, and that leads to Corruptors, of course. And then we have the Greater Spire for even more advantages. Broodlords and stuff like that. I know I love my Broodlords. Used to use those a lot in StarCraft 1. Ah, the good old Brood Wars days. Ah, I miss StarCraft. Now I kind of want to play it. I haven't played StarCraft in forever. StarCraft is good, man. StarCraft's still good. StarCraft 2 is amazing. What's not to like about it? Anyway. Oh, they set up in Greenland. How dare they? Now, do we want Corruptors? No. I'm going to try going for something else. Let's go for the, let's go for Roaches. Those are actually a very reliable unit. Yeah, so I'm seeing Roaches here in the transmissions. I kind of thought they were all going to be over here, but I guess I'm wrong. It's not... Oh, no. What am I talking about? No. Symptoms are just the unit upgrades. The Zerglings were right here as well. Okay, they're fine. So do you want to go for some Roaches for rural transmission? Okay. Now, here's what would be helpful, in my opinion. If you're going to have these things unlocking certain units, right, and you don't know what those units are going to be, or rather, I take that back. I know what the units are going to be, but I have to be selective about what units I pick up. I kind of would like to know, ahead of time, that Roaches are what you will want if you want to have some rural transmission. Now, I know you don't want to say, this increases transmission, because it doesn't. It's just an unlock. But it could just say something like, leads to rural transmission, or something like that. Something to let me know that the Roaches will accomplish a certain goal, since I have to be selective. That said, you could also just ignore that, and, you know, I just have to play the scenario multiple times to find out. That could also be a thing. We instantly destroyed Greenland. That was fun. Okay. So, we need a bit more cold resistance if we can get that. Let's do that now. Having a little trouble in Scandinavia. Let's go from Poland to the Baltic States. Let's go from Central Europe into Ukraine. Let's go from Sweden to Norway. We'll go from Kazakhstan to Russia again. Just transfer a few million Zerglings around. They're trying to set up in Finland. How dare you? Sweden, destroy. So yeah, very easy scenario. Kinda cool, though. This is a lot of stuff. Holy cram, it's a lot of stuff. Now, I can't say that the author was, you know, can take credit for coming up with hundreds of things on his own. Really what's happening here is literally every single building, every unit, every piece of tech for the Zerg is getting a symptom. That still takes a lot of work, don't get me wrong. It's impressive as heck. It's not quite as creative as, like, coming up with 100 completely original ideas, but that's not what this scenario needs. So that's not really anything to criticize. I'm still just frankly impressed. Holy crap, this is amazing. Wow. There's so much stuff. Now, the thing is, and I don't know how much this is balanced when it comes to Mega Brutal mode, because so far normal difficulty seems a little too easy. We barely had to get any units. We could have stuck with just Zerglings with a few upgrades and we would have had it. Easily enough. Maybe it's because I was aggressive and evolved it early. So the question now is, how does this set up in Mega Brutal? Because I'm kind of curious. There's so much stuff to get. I would actually reduce the effectiveness of a bunch of them and maybe reduce the cost slightly to balance it out, so that the player has to pick a better, more diverse composition of units. That's what I would recommend. Slightly reducing the effectiveness of everything, and reduce the cost a little bit so that it's a bit more balanced, so that I can't get by with just Zerglings. I really want to get a good diversity of Mutalisks, and Hydralisks, and Ultralisks, and Banelings, and so on. Give me a reason to diversify a little bit more, because otherwise, this is really cool. I'm not gonna lie, I like this one a lot. Well done. Huh. Never would have thought that I'd seen, like, StarCraft almost so perfectly translated into Plague Inc., but well done. Yeah, those little modifications I think would help make it a better scenario, but otherwise there's not really much wrong with it. It's actually pretty darn good as is. That's just what I would do if you want to try and force the player to experience a bit more of your content. That's how I might approach it. Thank you all very much for watching. I do hope that you enjoyed. If so, then be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I, as always, will see you guys next time.